Hey guys, hello and welcome to another fun video of Power Automate today. So in today's video, we'll be playing with the data operations in Power Automate Cloud. I'll be showing you how can you use them in the real projects, how can we utilize them, and where do we utilize the data operations in Power Automate. So quickly, I'll create a flow which is called data operations. So basically, there are around 6 to 7 actions, right, in the data operations. For example, the compose action, select action, you have seen them earlier also while you create your flows, and today we'll be seeing how can we use them and what is the use of them. So first we see is the compose action. Compose action is basically, you can consider this as a set variable value with a fixed value, right? So why I am saying this is, with the compose action, let's say you give the value as simply hello and you save it and test it. Done, right? So if you see the output of compose, you see it's a string value. The Power Automate has taken it itself that okay, it's a string value. Now if you want to convert this into an array, now you test it, save and test, run it, done, right? And you see now your variable is an array type. So unlike set variable option, where you have to define that okay, this will be a string always and this will be an array always, in compose you don't have to do it, you just have to define your value. So this is the work of compose. It's just a sticky notes in your Power Automate where you can define anything and set the value of a variable without defining the particular kind of variable, right? So this is an object, very basic thing in the Power Automate. Right now we quickly come to another option. Before coming on to that, I'll just give it a good name here. Just rename it the compose, set compose function. Okay, so it's always a good practice that you rename your every action in the cloud flow, because this cannot be a duplicate function, right? Do not give this long name which I have given. It's just, you like shorter name is good. Right now quickly we'll come on to the join is basically, when you have an array kind of values and you want to convert that array into a string, just go blind and use join, right? So what I am saying is, I'll simply show you. So whenever you use some actions, right, for example HTML or any other, any action you use, mostly action will give you the output in form of array, right? For example, let's say that you get some value, right? You get some value from an HTML and you will always get that in the form of array, right? For example, let's say you get some great email.com, right? And then you get it like this. Mm, right, I'll just test this one, right? So you get your values in this format, in an array and in kind of JSON array format, right? So if you want to join this or if you want to convert this into a string, the action which comes handy is the join action, right? So I'll just quickly have my join, right? Join. So what it takes is, it always takes input as an array, right? What array you want to convert it into a string, and then you want it asks you what, with which character you want to join. You can write anything you like, but for now I'll just give a semicolon. I'll just test this one and run through that. Right now, if you see the output of join, you get your output as in the JSON format, the array, sorry, the JSON format, and you can also get this value in a variable using the compose action or using the select action, right? So this is basically join and compose action. Basically, when do we use join is when we are getting this mm, email addresses in an array, and then we want to send email to all these recipients. We use join and we then give the join with semicolon, because while sending an email, the Power Automate takes the values separated with a semicolon, right? So this is how the join works. Now the second option, the third, sorry, let's come out here. Filter, okay, there is a select, basically select. Uh, select you can use to add remove object, right? You can add or remove or rename the shape of an object within an array, right? So it also takes input as an array, and then you can add or remove or rename the objects, but you can't change the number of an object in an array. I'll show you an example of how to use select, how to add or rename, right? So in here in compose action, let me just have a multi-dimensional array, or you can say a kind of the data in form of rows and columns, right? So in here I'll just have my email as this, okay, and then I will just mention as workplace. I'll just give a Gmail, right? So this is, you can say, is my one row. So this is the name of the column, right? And this is my first row, and this is my second column, and this is my value in the first row. Similarly, I will add a comma, and then here also I will similarly have these values, right? So here I'll just get email, right? And here I have a place, just rename it, just name the column with the similar name so that there will be no other errors, right? And then you have your email, and then you have your workplace as, right, and you close in the brackets, and right. So if you see now, you have a variable, although you don't have to change the value unlike in set variable. You just have one row, second row, and the third row, right? Let's just now test this one. Let me just delete this one, and we'll use we'll see the use of the select method or select function in the Power Automate, right? Just run it. Okay, so flow ran successfully, and join has done its operation very good, right? It has joined the values with the semicolons, and if you see the raw output, you will have this in the JSON or array of JSON format, right? So this is your first value in array in the curly brackets, this is your second value, and this is your third value, right? This, you can consider this as a column name 1, and this is a column name 2, and the value 1 and the value 2, right? Now I want to change this email to some other value, and I want to change this workplace to some other value, and I can change the value also. Now, in order to do this, we utilize the join. Sorry, we utilize the select action, right? So what I am saying is select in the data operation. I just use select. Right now, I will give the input as an array, of course. Right. So this is set compose function. Set compose function. The output of the compose function. Now, let's say that I want to change my email column name to something else, right? So you can call it as a header 1, and then you can have that value. Okay, before having that value in the select option, I'll just have this header 2 for now, right? So before having this action, if you see here, we only have two outputs, which is one is the output of the join and another is output of the compose function. Although we can use an expression to get these values, right? But then no, we will use another action in the data operation, which is called the parse JSON, right? So parse JSON, what parse JSON will do is it will parse the values in JSON for you in the form of variables, right? So what it takes is it takes this input as an array, right? And then it takes the schema, right? So schema is basically you copy it, it will generate itself, generate from sample, and you paste that schema and click done, right? So it has created the schema itself, right? The type is array, elements are, if you see, like this, closed in the brackets, right? For example, like this, curly braces, it is closed, and then it is closed. If you know your schema, you can enter it manually, although it is smart enough to create the schema from the sample, right? Now I'll just test this one and I'll show you what this path JSON has just done to our data. I'll just run the flow, click done. Okay, so if you see the output, you see there is no difference, only the body is appended. But then if I go to edit and into the select option, now I go into variable and in dynamic value, if you see here, we are having the email is basically the parse JSON action has given us the value. If you see here, to workplace, that means we have done some mistake. Okay, we have given this, although if you now see these variables are just gone because we have changed our initial value. So I'll just test it again quickly, save and test. Right, and just edit, and if you see in select now, earlier you are not getting these options, but you are now getting these options, right? So okay, so why it has taken the apply to each is because we have not the email, this email, this email is coming from the JSON output, but this body is from the set, this body is from the set compose action, right? So this is why it has taken this apply to each, although it will give us the same value. Let's just test it how this value will be given. So I'll take, people are very concerned that why it has taken apply to each is because of this reason. If you see the body, if you see the output, if you see the outputs, set compose functions, right? So that's why it has taken the body. So I'll just test it. Okay, and if you see the select output, see the value is being changed, header 1, header 2. Okay, just see the output, header 1, header 1, header 1, right? And if you go to next loop, you have as the output as the other value into the loop. But since this is in the loop, we have to go to next and next and next. What I'll do is I'll remove this output, I'll move it out of the I'll move it out of the loop. Okay, it is not moving. Just move this one. Let's see if I'll be able to move it or not. Okay, let me just delete this. Okay, now into the select, I'll take the output from parse JSON, right? So body, right? And then into the key, you can give a different name, or you can choose to give header 1 or 2. So I'll give just header 1, and into the value I'll give email, and header 2 I will give the workplace simple, and then just test it. Right, so if you see the output of, so if you see the input also, here we have the email, but now we have header 1, we have header 2, right? So this is, the function of select. Okay. Okay, so what it has done here is it has helped us to rename it, right? Or, so in order to add it, you can just give header 3, and I mean, you can give any name, for example, email, right? And workplace, like this. So this is the rename, right? And this is the add. If I remove any of the header, and then it will be a remove function, right? So we'll just do it. Now if you see the raw output, header 3 is also there, right? And it has appended end also, if you see in the middle, right? So what we have done is we can add, remove, and rename, but we can't change the number of object in an array. There are uh, 3, then it will be 3. We cannot change the number of objects, right? So we have seen the compose, join, parse JSON, select, and now we will see the filter. I mean, from filter it is very clear. So filter array, and then it will take the input as an array, right? And the value, so let's say that email, there are many options we have. Let's say contains uh, ABC, right? And let's just test this. So it basically filters the array from an array, right? And if you see the raw output, it has given me all the emails where the email contains the ABC, right? Now we know what all these functions are. They're just a one homework for you, that in the select option we can add, remove, and rename, but we cannot change the number of objects. It's a homework for you. You can do it. There are many options to do it. Just what you have to do is change the number of objects using, we cannot do it using the select, but then you can do it using just a hint that append to array variable. You can change number of objects. So you do it yourself, and then let me know in the comment section below how you have done it. Now the last section left is the create CSV table, right? So I'll just add a new step, and data operations, right? And then create CSV. Although I have used this function very much in my previous AI builder video, and in the flow data table functions video, I have used this create CSV table, right? So it is basically, it converts the array into a CSV format, right? So what I'll do is I'll just have my, I can use this also, right? If you see the output of CSV, it has converted my data into a Excel kind of format. You can say, you can write this in an Excel easily. And if you want to know how can we write in an Excel, go and watch the AI builder video. That was very helpful. You will get to know so much from that video. So this is all about the data operations in Power Automate. Let me know in the comment section below what is your favorite part of the video. Till then, bye. See you in the next video. Happy automation.